everyone. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, welcome to All Too Well Read.
How exciting we are. I am very fresh off of reading Fourth Wing. I literally just finished last night and I'm still processing everything. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I've been in a weird book hangover all morning, but I'm very, very excited to talk about Fourth Wing, especially with you, Chris, because I'm really excited to see because you reread Fourth Wing. So I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on all of it.
Yeah, that ending is like a great ending. I mean, there's stuff in that ending that's like really sad and we're going to talk about it, but like Fourth Wing, great book. Great book. Yeah, it's a reread for me and we'll kind of talk about that, but like it was so like even more enjoyable the second time around. And so I'm not usually a reread girl. Like once I read a book, it's done for me unless it like really truly impacts me. So this is different. I'm very happy to have reread it and I can't wait for Iron Flame.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear your thoughts. Before we dive in though, how have you been, Chris? Tell me because this is a new reread for you. So tell me how it's been. You know, our last episode, we were House and Flame and Shadowing. And now we're kind of just in this whole new space, which I know for me was I feel like it was like this whole new era. So yeah, how have you been?
I've been really good. Things are exciting, just like working on this podcast and the fact that our first episode releases next week. It's just a really exciting time. Just like creatively too. I feel like last weekend was a little rough for me, but like this week I've just felt like had so much energy, so much vision and passion for like what's to come and what we're going to be recording, what we're going to talk about, what we're going to be reading. And so a lot of my energy this week has honestly been into like my Bookstagram. I don't know. How many followers do you need for it to be considered an official Bookstagram? But I just love that this like time of life right now is really all about books. Like I could not have imagined like taking my passion for reading and just like doing something creatively with it. It's a fun time. It's a fun time.
Oh, I'm like, I'm getting emotional. Just because I remember us like talking over like this last summer and like you just like having this deep desire and you're like, girl, like, and this is no shade to anybody, but like, I'm tired of seeing all these kids just picking up a book for the first time. You're like, I've been in this. And I'm like, girl, okay, let's do something about it. And now here you are, like you've been wanting to do something creatively with books for such a long time. And I'm just so happy that like, I don't know, this year, I feel like you're just like on a different wavelength and you've just been taking all of it and going for it. Like you have your Substack, you don't need a certain amount of followers to call yourself a Bookstagram, period. So you do have a Bookstagram. And now we have a book podcast. And so I'm just really happy you're also like in the energy and really enjoying just being in the space because I don't know. It's just really nice to work on something that you actually love. And so I'm so happy you're really feeling it. On my end, I've been enjoying all of that too, you know?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your writing journey?
I'm so excited. I feel like I have this like, what do I want to say? With my words, I feel like for me, these last few weeks, also with the release of this podcast has been really exciting. I have so enjoyed because I've kind of been a little lone wolf in terms of like, you know, I started my own business and I was doing a lot of I had podcasts and I've had, you know, an Instagram and like I've been doing this for a minute, but now having a partner and like doing it together and like also doing it from a place of like, because we simply love to do it has been such a lovely energy to work with. And And I haven't, I've kind of been like hermiting for a while. So working on this stuff and like I feel like I'm like back to work finally, which is really interesting and really fun. There's also been like, I've been so conflicted too, because we've been so busy with the podcast. And then, I also have a full-time job too. So your girl's just fucking busy. So my writing really, I low-key haven't written like the last few weeks. Like I wrote a little bit, I want to say like last Monday. And like, I'm just like getting through this one plot part of the book. And I'm getting really in my head, and I have to remember that like it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just a draft. So like I need to just move, because the perfectionist in me like wants it to be perfect so badly and like accurate. And maybe it's also the projector in me for my human design girlies. Like when we put our energy into something, we are not trying to waste our time. Like I think that's my biggest. And I remember Chris talking to you about this too. Like, I think that was one of my biggest things. Even when I first started writing, I was like, Chris, I need you to tell me if this sucks, because like, I don't feel like wasting my time, like pouring all of my energy into this if it fucking sucks. And then you're like, it doesn't suck. And I was like, okay, thank you. It meant a lot to me. So that's what I have to remember. I'm like, okay, I need to move through this plot point. It's going to be okay. When I thought about them doing this in the first place, I realized this is vague, but y'all will just have to like wait for it to be a full thing. I was really excited. So that's why I was like, I think I just like need to remember that excitement again and like just realize that it doesn't need to be that serious. I'm like, be like, oh my God, well, like mannerisms, and because it's so different because they're in a different country. So I'm like, oh my God, like, how do I know? Like, are they huggers? Like, it's like it's not the same as like necessarily like being in the US. So I need to just remember that. So I've been coming to terms with a lot of that and like reminding myself I'm doing a lot. And so I can take time. Like I'm not in a rush. And I think that's my biggest thing is like remembering that. And especially low keys, Fourth Wing has taken over like all of my brain capacity. Like I genuinely haven't been able to think of anything else. Like I wake up, especially I'm a writing girl in the morning. So like when I've been waking up in the morning, I have not been thinking about my characters. I've been thinking about Fourth Wing. Today was no exception. The ending of Fourth Wing, I don't have a lot of words, but that's how I'm doing. Before we dive on it.
That's great. And I feel like it's like really helpful, like for me to hear and like whoever listens to this to hear, like in like a creative era, it's so true that there's so many things, like things also take work. So things are like exhausting. Like last night I was having like a migraine and a meltdown like over like tech stuff because I've just learned and accepted like I think I'm good at tech. I'm tech illiterate. Like it's happening. I'm growing older. The tech thing is just leaving. The intuition is just leaving my body. And I was just like so stressed. I'm talking to my husband and he's like, you said you wanted to do this for fun. And I'm like, and I do. And this is fun. It's just like, there are things that like, there's jobs, there's tech issues, there's learning curves. And it's just something like, it's all part of like the creative process. And it's not all like rainbows and butterflies. Like we're still like doing this stuff. So like creativity, it just like has different personalities, I feel like. So it's just like helpful, you know, even with like my Instagram thing, like you were saying that you were like it doesn't have to be like perfect, like what you write and like you're worried about this like one scene. It's like really interesting to constantly like be aware of like, okay, am I doing this because I think people want to see this? Or like, am I doing this because I love it? Am I doing this because like I believe in it? And you've been very like encouraging to me like in that space. So yeah, I think I just love the creative journeys we're on. I love like the amount of ourselves like we're putting into it. And the fact that we get to do this like together is just, it's exciting.
It's the best. It's the best. It's the best. And thank you. It's so funny that Adam said that because Jason literally said the same thing to me. He's like, Meg, like, you're supposed to be doing this for fun. And I'm like, you're so right. You're so right. Like, what is it about like humans and just like being human that like we love to take joy and make it so hard and like make it something that like puts so much pressure on it and make it into this big giant thing when it's like actually just like meant to be fun. And so I'm really excited. I love this journey that we're on, and having those reminders I feel like are just really important, you know, especially like because I think we can be like the hardest on ourselves. So like having a mirror for each other to be like to remind, just have that, having someone in your life to remind you to just like have fucking fun is, I think, a really important thing to have. And reading is like also a great way to just like have fun.
So fun.
Reading Fourth Wing was so fun. And so I think without further ado, are we ready to dive in?
Let's dive in.
Let's dive in. Chris, I want you to kick us off because you've read this book. And I'm so grateful that you reread it with me because I know you're not a rereading girly. But I never got around to it last year when we were in when we started our fantasy era. I think I reread ACOTAR and then you went to Fourth Wing. And I was like, I am not ready to be in anywhere else. So the fact that now I'm finally getting around to reading Fourth Wing, especially now that Onyx Storm came out, I was like, okay, this is definitely the time to do it. I'm so excited to hear your like expectations and perspective going into this read.
Yeah, after reading ACOTAR, it was not the call to dive right into Fourth Wing, especially because it was my first fantasy series other than like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. But obviously ACOTAR is like so different. Like I read ACOTAR and was like absolutely obsessed. It becomes your whole personality and all that. Before I read ACOTAR though, I was trying to decide to read like ACOTAR or Fourth Wing. I had friends on both sides in my ear just saying, you need to read this book. You need to read this book. And ACOTAR won at the time because the people that suggested ACOTAR, the enthusiasm behind it was just like a whole different level. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start with this one. When it came time for Fourth Wing, I was still in that place where I was just like mesmerized. And so I brought a little bit of that baggage into reading Fourth Wing, where I was continuously comparing or just like seeing like character similarities or trope similarities and remembering like or seeing like the bond or the mind to mind between Xaden and Violet or the dragons. It immediately I would think about like Rysand or Rhysand, whatever. And so I constantly had moments where I was reading it the first time where I was like thinking back. And I think that just made the experience a little weird. And so when we had this idea to do Fourth Wing, to reread it, and rather than me jumping into Onyx Storm with you, I was like, no, like I really want to read this again. I want to have like a fresh perspective. And I'm so glad that I reread it because I had such a better time reading Fourth Wing this time around, and I appreciate it so much more than I did the first time. So yeah, you read it for the first time. And so I want to hear like, what did you know about the book? Did you have like friends recommend it? Like, what were your expectations going into Fourth Wing?
Yeah. So one, I love that like I really love that you were able to have this second like iteration of Fourth Wing, because I will say like once I started reading, I was like, I could see why like reading ACOTAR and Fourth Wing too close together, it could like take away from the other, even like if you read one book or the other book first, I could just see how you could like be able to like get fully in it because you're thinking about this whole other world. But like for me, I obviously started with ACOTAR, and then I was like completely in the Massiverse for a while. So this is like my first. Granted, I was reading the Plated Prisoner series while being in Throne of Glass. So, but then it got to a point where I was like, I have to put this down because I have to focus on Throne of Glass. So like, but this feels like my first, because I was still in the Massiverse, this feels like my first like exit. Like I'm like, okay, like I just feel like I like went through this whole journey and now I'm like in the real world. Like, but I'm not in the real world, but I'm like in this big gold real world of like fantasy books now. And now I'm finding my place now that I'm no longer in the Massiverse anymore. But I know people love Fourth Wing, so I was really excited to read it and bring it in. My one friend in town, she absolutely loves it. And she's been begging me to read Fourth Wing, especially because Onyx Storm just came out too. And she was like, Meg, like I need you to read Fourth Wing. And I'm like, girl, the second I finish House of Flame and Shadow, I will read Fourth Wing, I promise. And then I read House of Flame and Shadow. I was like, I need a minute. But then after that, I will read Fourth Wing. And so luckily, like at least too, like my algorithm on socials and stuff like that, I didn't see too much about Fourth Wing. Like I didn't really get any spoilers. All I know is that like Xaden is like book boyfriend. Like Xaden is up there in the book boyfriend sphere. So I knew Xaden. That's the only thing I knew. I didn't know anything else. And I don't even mind that I knew about Xaden because low key, I think it was like page like 3 or something. We're introduced to Xaden. And once a writer writes, he was the most beautiful man I've ever seen, I'm like, game over. Like, say less. I was just like really excited, a little nervous because like world building and all this is like still, it's always a time, but honestly, I feel like the Massiverse really like trains you. I felt like very prepared, like after Throne of Glass, and then especially after Crescent City, I'm like, I felt like I was prepared, like I was training for this. And so, yeah, I like went into it with really no expectations besides like, I'm ready to read about dragons and like find out who Xaden is. And then I was pleasantly surprised the entire time. Yeah. So I went in with no expectations. And then I was literally like, I think what I really loved about Rebecca's writing is like literally like all I had to do was get through the first chapter. That's it. Like all I had to do was get through chapter 1 and I was immediately captivated. And it kept that steam, honestly, the entire time. This was such an easy read. And I felt like I was so happy because I felt like I was finally like back. And I don't know if I felt like that because of how long it took us to get through House of Flame and Shadow. But I was just like, thank fucking God. I feel like I'm finally like, I had that feeling like when I was reading, like devouring A Court of Mist and Fury. And when I was devouring Throne of Glass, like I finally had that feeling again in fantasy and it felt so good. And it was like a little jarring at first, like, but I loved it. Like what worked for me, I think like the first thing off of my bat is like this adult Harry Potter. Like it truly is like from the moment I'm like, oh, we're at the parapet. Like, okay, like she's fighting for her life. Okay. And like how fucking ruthless, like Rebecca, I think I just did such a great job in her writing of like portraying how fucking ruthless this place is. I'm like, we have Jack Barlow just like murdering students left and right. Like we met, I forget his name. Was his name Dylan? In
yeah,
like
I think
the
it was
first,
Dylan.
yeah, like I'm like, yay, platonic male-female friendships, one of my favorites. And he like dies immediately. I'm like, oh my God. Like it was just, she did a great job like setting that stage. And then it's like you have the professors. It was, I just loved it. I like really, really loved it. And like the stakes were high, though I didn't know necessarily what was going on all of the time, especially in those first beginning chapters. I was just captivated.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like the parapet scene, like right in the beginning of the book, like it hooks you immediately and like you're just like transported and like in my brain, like I'm trying to picture it and like what it looks like and what it feels like. And people are like falling and like all this stuff. And yeah, it's so intense. So she's a great writer. And I just really loved like being like grabbed from the beginning, like with that. And like now we have the gauntlet and the threshing and, you know, all these different pieces. I really loved, I appreciated, I was engaged. I was like devouring it. And, you know, what worked for me was like the one POV. And again, like, and I have no intention of like pitting books against books, but just like this is like coming from the Sarah J. Maas world, multiple POV. Like it was just so different. And I really liked it just to have like that one, like Violet's point of view and everything like that. So that was something that was like refreshing from where we just came from, but also like you really like got to know Violet immediately.
I also loved the single POV, even though we got a little bit of Xaden at the end. We'll get there. But I also agree because when you are in a single POV, you do, I feel like, just get to know your main character, like frontwards, backwards, sideways. And I think that's so important, especially when like you are in this world for the first time and everything is so new and everything is so different. Like just being able to like be with your little like buddy, aka your main character, and like just experiencing all of this with her. It was so refreshing and it was awesome. And it brings me to like one of my favorite things of this book was Violet in general and her character development. Like I know the girls on Instagram and social are really tired of the weak, quote unquote, the weak fantasy girls and like becoming these strong beings. But like, I'm sorry, I just feel like Violet's character in general is written so well. Like to me, she was so relatable from the beginning. It's actually one of my favorite lines in the book, where it was like, I think they were either at like, they were maybe about to go through the threshing or whatever. I think one of the girls, I don't know if it was Quinn or somebody else. And she was like, I mean, who like wouldn't want to ride a dragon? And she's like, me. I'm like, I just loved it. Like, I just felt like she truly could like understand like where she was coming from. Like, girl was meant to be a scribe. You know what I mean? Mom had a different story. She had to change up everything. And yeah, like it was just a reality and a fact that she went into the writer's quadrant completely ill-equipped compared to everyone else who trains their entire life to be there. And like how we went from like, I'm fighting for my life, like I don't know how I'm going to do this, to then her just totally owning. And that was one of my things that I wrote down, because I think it was some professor or something. It was like, there's a reason why Xaden is wing leader. It takes more than strength and courage. And I was like, girl, like I loved her story because I'm like, yeah, she has her brain. She's smart as fuck. And like, that is its own strength in and of itself, that she's able to have all of this knowledge and she's able to be strategic and outsmart her components. And she doesn't always need to be this like giant warrior, but like she really comes into her own. She stands up to Dane. I'll get to Dane later. But like she truly just like comes from being like, I am nervous, to just being like, no, this is actually like where I'm meant to be. And like she can have this moment of being in the little archives, or are they called archives? I'm still, y'all, just to like preface, like this is a new world for me. So I'm not going to pronounce anyone's name correctly. I low-key don't know how to pronounce where we are. I'm just going to let everyone know. Like, this is raw. I just finished it yesterday. I'm no expert, but like, this is just like our cute little book club. So we're coming as we are. So I wanted to preface that. I also think it's on brand for me to pronounce everything wrong. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I loved, or maybe it was the library. I forget what they call it. The scribe quadrant area with, what's her friend's name? It's obviously not
Justinia.
Jacinia. I was gonna say
Yeah.
Jessica. And I'm like, I know it's not
I know.
Jessica. No, it's not. Jacinia. And like she had that moment where she was like, oh, it was like a, I'm, it feels weird to be in a second home, but like the writer's quadrant just feels so right. I love how she just completely was able to carry herself from being like the girl that didn't know she could do it to like being one of the most badass fucking writers ever. And like having just being awesome. I don't know. I loved her. And I loved her development so much. I thought it was so well written.
Yeah. That whole archive scene was actually my favorite quote of the whole book, and I do think it sums that all up perfectly. Andarna,
Andarna. I think it's Andarna.
My turn to butcher something. But she said, "Are you sad?" And this quote specifically, "Just visiting the archives, no need to worry, I tell her." She says it's hard to love a second home as much as the first. And Violet says, "It's easy when the second home is the right one." And it's just so interesting, like you said. And I love that you pointed out, like, maybe she wasn't fit in the training sense to be like a writer, but her brain, like she had a smart brain. She was strong in that way. And then she just became stronger. Like then her body adapted like with the training and everything like that. But she could have had like a more quiet, withdrawn scribe life. And now she has an even more exciting life. And I also loved too how quickly she believed in herself. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning, she's like, oh my gosh, I haven't, trained for this. But then she's, and again, like you said, we'll talk about Dane, like telling off Dane pretty early, like, no, like this is what I want to do. And so I just love that she also had like a really good sense of identity and self. So I would not categorize Violet in any way, shape, or form as like weak or like the underdog. I don't think so. So y'all can shut your mouth.
Period. I totally agree. Because that's what I loved about it too. Because it was like even when Dane, after the 20,000 millionth bajillionth time, but even in the beginning when like he offered her ways to get out, right? And every single time she was just like, no. And then even like to herself, she's like, maybe this is the time that I go do it. Maybe it was before that challenge when she had to climb that shit and she had to like find her way around it. She was like, this would be the time to do it because I low-key think I'm going to die today. But like she had that inner knowing. It was like that voice within her, because it's even before the mind-to-mind dragon shit that like just kept her saying, she's like, but I made it this far. Like, I already made it this far. Like, who would I be to then like go hide out in the scribe quadrant? Like, this is just who I am now. And I think her dad's letter really also like, which she doesn't get that till later too, but it really like stuck with at least me as the reader, being like, you have the best of both of us, being her father, the scribe, and her mother, like this like general warrior who like low-key sucks. We'll get to her. But like, I feel like she truly became like, she is like that embodiment of both of these strengths as Violet. Yeah. And I loved it.
Anything else that you had that worked for you in this book?
I mean, yes.
Obviously, the whole thing.
Obviously, yeah. It was actually the things that didn't work for me. There were things that actually worked. I just didn't like. It was really hard to like actually. I don't think there was a time that I was like, this doesn't work for me, but we'll get to that. But for me, the dragons talking mind to mind, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it. And that was when I was like, okay, cool. I get why we're writers now. Because like I related to Violet so deeply in the beginning where it was like, I don't know why the fuck people volunteer to do this. Like everyone's dying, literally. Like you're like, it's so hard. Like you come in as one class, you're you're like a shell of what you guys once were. Even on day one, just crossing the fucking parapet, I'm like, God, like, yeah, why would anyone want to volunteer? But now I get it. Now I get it. Because if you're talking mind to mind with a dragon, like, I'm sorry, like, that's like something that I wish I could have. Like, even like with my dog, like, to be able to just like telecommunicate with not a human, but like an animal being that like just knows you frontwards, backwards, sideways. Like, I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved Taran. I loved Andarna. You know, when she was like, I want to go to battle too. I'm like, you're so cute. Like, she's adorable. And I absolutely loved that. And then I love Xaden. But we're gonna get to Xaden. But before I get to Xaden, did you have anything else on your list?
I had the spice really worked for me, but since we're going to be talking about Xaden later, we can save that.
Perfect. Because yeah, Xaden from the beginning worked for me. I love a shadow daddy. Yeah, I just loved everything about him. The spice was incredible. Like, their first kiss genuinely, I feel like, changed my brain chemistry. I also loved just like her attraction to him almost immediately, but like fighting it. Like, I just thought it was so well written. And at the end of the day, I really also love that you had these two people in her life, like both kind of with the same goal. They both like both being Dane. Oh my God, a huge jackrabbit just ran by the window, like giant. Oh my God, it's like right here. Oh my God, that's nuts. Okay, anyway, sorry. Y'all will get used to, I live in the wilderness. I have to always comment on any animal that comes by me. Anyway, we have these two people, right? Dane, who we meet at first, who's like, his number one thing is protecting Violet, yada, yada, yada. And then we have Xaden, who also like deeply cares, even though we like think he's gonna like kill her for like that maybe like first third of the book. Like, every interaction is like, oh, well, like, I'm not gonna kill you yet, blah, blah, blah. Like, kind of like having that facade. Xaden is actually the one, instead of like being like, of course he wanted to like keep Violet safe, but like he actually did things to actually help her be there. And that's what I really loved and I really respected. Like, I loved that he was actually training her. I loved that he gave her like daggers. Like, he actually was doing things to keep her alive instead of like maybe Dane and even her sister like were just giving her things to just have her survive. Like, Xaden was actually like training her and helping her to help her thrive and reach her fullest potential. When Xaden gave the fucking saddle, that was when I lost it. That is when I truly fell. That's when I fell. That's when I lost it. I'm like, okay, you're hot, but there's something so thoughtful. Like, it was just like the thoughtfulness and the planning. I don't know if it's just like the woman in me just like getting a gift that I know that you had to like put immense amount of thought and like you were working with my dragon on it. Like, it was taking weeks and weeks and weeks to like put this together. That's when I was like, Xaden.
Yeah.
Xaden. Everything.
Yeah, it is interesting how you have like in the beginning, it's like Dane, the really good friend, the one to trust, the one like, and then you have this other person, enemy, like he's gonna kill me. And then like slowly they just like kind of like move to the opposite side where you have like Xaden helping and then Dane being like so consumed with rules and gosh, when he did not believe that that girl tried to kill.
Oh my God.
Was it her name Amber? When Amber was like tried to kill Violet and he like didn't believe it and like just constantly being overprotective, but like he was the voice causing all of Violet's doubts the whole time. Like when you were talking about like the gauntlet and how she's like, this is the time to leave. Like Dane is the one that was like planting seeds the whole time. Like, you can't do this. And so it is so different with Xaden, who is like, I'm going to equip you. Like, I'm protective, but like, I am giving you the tools that you need to be successful. And just like fun and crazy too, like other thought is just like the whole they're dragons being mated and stuff. It's just like so interesting. Xaden and Violet's first kiss for me was like, it was like a really great moment. And just the fact that like Rebecca introduced Violet's signet in that moment, and like the fact that like Xaden is the one like that kind of like brought it out of her. I think that was like really cool. Like lightning figuratively and literally sparks.
Which I didn't even catch. I didn't even catch that until like later. And he's like, oh yeah, like during our first kiss, like I had a feeling you might have had lightning. And like, I just love how observing. Because it's so true. Dane was protective to her detriment, while Xaden was protective, but but never underestimated her. But never like just like you said, he truly equipped her. And I do think it's so interesting. Once, I swear to God, when it came to the dragons, because at first I was like, I didn't know how it was going to go. Like when we were introduced to the black dragon in class, I was like, she's going to get that black dragon, period. But then when we met Golden Dragon, Andarna. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Meanwhile, like I love her. Like, don't get it twisted. But it's like I can read these names all day, and now this is the first time I'm saying them out loud. When we met Andarna, I was like, oh, I love again an underestimated queen. Like she's gonna get Andarna, and Andarna's gonna just show up. You know what I mean? Also, it's giving like Abraxas. Also, like in a different world, wouldn't Andarna and Abraxas be like the cutest little mated pair? Wouldn't they be so cute?
I would read that book.
I would read that book too. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, she's gonna get the black one, and I'm like, no, she's gonna go with the gold one, and then she gets both, and then you find out that it's mated to Xaden. I was like, done. And then we're all talking mind to mind. I'm like, especially after that first kiss, Violet's a better human than me, because like if I had Xaden kiss me up against a wall and then not talk about it for a month, you would have to check me into a mental institution. Like there'd be no fucking way I could go one whole month without ever talking about it. And like I'm just not that, I'm not that chill. I'm not that cool. And then it's like, oh, like it's complicated. Like we're so tied to each other. I'm like, how could you literally be with anyone else? I don't know how you could be with anyone else. Like this man is in your brain. He's in your head. Your dragons are fucking. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I love like we went from enemies to lovers to like forced proximity, but like literally like we can't be away from each other for more than like 3 days.
Yeah. Oh my God, I loved it. I loved it. And their spice was also so good, so well written. I think Rebecca did such a great job. Again, like also like leaving us like satisfied too. Like, you know, I think again, this is not to like compare. This is just where we're coming out of the Sarah J. Maas world. Sarah J. Maas loves a tease. She loves to get you close and rip it away from you.
Yep.
She loves to make you wait. And like this was a slow burn too. Don't get me wrong. But like when we finally did it.
In the same book.
Yes.
It's the same. Sorry.
Yes. Multiple times. Like, thank you. Like, just give me something. You know what I mean? Like, give me something. Like, I remember with Crescent City, I wrote in my notes, I'm like, finally, a blowjob. Like, give it, like, so happy with, like, the bare minimum. And this was like, no, girl, like, okay, yes, we kissed. But it, like, we still got some good fucking spice that was, again, incredibly well written with the lightning and the shadows and, like, the losing control.
The furniture. The furniture just... breaking everywhere.
Furniture breaking, the window gets blown out. And he's like, oh, ready for round 3? I'm like, damn, okay. And I just before we move on to the things that didn't work, as just the last thing is I think it was one of my favorite parts of the book. And again, why I love Violet so much was when, and that's why like I could talk to you about this too, like compared to my other book boyfriends. So Xaden is up there now. Xaden is up there for me, but he still is giving like, and maybe because he's not like 500 years old, you know what I mean? But like, he's definitely still giving boy, right? Like, he's definitely like a lust daddy. And granted, the love comes and we know that they love each other. Obviously, you don't make someone a fucking saddle. I'm sorry. You don't make someone a fucking saddle if you don't love them. Like, you would have seen, like, period. But what I loved about Violet was like after their first time, and he was like, you can't fall for me, blah, blah, blah. She's like, no, like, fuck you. Like, you don't get, I mean, she said it nicer. But you don't get to do that. Like, you don't get to, like, come and give me, like, multiple orgasms and leave literal, like, wild violets that you hand fucking picked next to my bed so I don't feel lonely and be like, oh, don't fall for me. Like, I kind of just, like, I really loved that. And she really gave it back to him in that way. Because, like, no, you don't get to act like my fucking boyfriend, bro. And, like, say what I can and can't feel when you're literally acting very different than the fuckboy that you're trying to, like, give to me right now.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, the only thing other than that I really loved, going back in time just a little bit, is the whole threshing scene. Like, I know we're already past that, but like, I've learned through fantasy that I love dragons. I really just love the whole dragon thing. The threshing scene, like, super intense. Just the fact that too, there's like all these other, like, these different color dragons. And like, in my mind, it's probably a little bit more Dragon Tales-esque in terms of colors than what Sarah has pictured when she's talking about the blue and the red dagger tail and the black and the gold. I would love to get into her mind, because right now for me, they're like bright green and bright blue, and that's not helpful when we're in a war and we can be spotted from a mile away. We can't be bright blue. But just the whole, like, and the fact that she has 2 dragons was like super cool, but just like the whole scene of like Jack Barlow, who's the worst, and he wants to kill Andarna, and I'm like, how is that gonna go for you? Like, all of these dragons are like unaliving and smoking people away, like, as you all walk through the field. So how you think you're gonna kill a dragon and everything's just gonna be okay, like, is weird to me. So the fact that like Tarn came and just that whole scene, like, is something that I think about and a lot, and is something that I've just like daydreamed about, like, with a little kid mind, which I really appreciate. But in terms of like anything else, like, I don't think there's anything specific about this book that didn't work for me in terms of like trope or storyline or things that like didn't land. Like, I bought in 100% to like everything. Like, the only thing that I could think of is that sometimes the chapters felt long. And that's like a me thing that I was like, ugh, like, I need to go adult. Like, when is this chapter going to be over? But I think she did a really good job of like creating very dislikable characters. Mm-hmm. And so what worked for me or what didn't work for me isn't necessarily anything about like Rebecca or the book, but it's Dane, which we've talked about, and like Jack Barlow. Like, man, from the beginning, what a rough one. What a rough human being.
Girl, I can't agree more. Especially when it comes to, because I agree, like, there isn't much in this book that like didn't work for me. Like, truly, I woke up at like 4 a.m. at one one day and I read for like 9 hours straight. And to me, that's a good fucking book. Like, if I'm able to do that and genuinely not even want to put it down, like, I genuinely, even after those 9 hours, I read from like 4 a.m. to like noon. Like, and I genuinely still didn't want to put it down. To me, that doesn't leave a lot of like room for it, like, not working, because clearly I'm flying through it. But I agree. When I was little, before I even go into Dane, because I'm going to go off on Dane and Jack Barlow, because fuck. Also, I hate that like Jack Barlow even has like 2 names. Like, he's always a 2-name person. It was never just Jack.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that's how you
Yes.
know he's a fucking prick. Like, he's a 2-name person, and that's so annoying. But anyway, the fact that you compared the Threshing to Dragging Tales literally kills me. But I also, and I guess maybe we can bring that just into Jack Barlow. Jack Barlow's character really, I mean, one, it totally set the stage. Like, I understand why she created him, because like it really set the stage to understand like how ruthless and like low-key horrible this place is, you know? Like, this is a tough fucking place to be, where, yeah, you have fucking crazy fucking people like Jack Barlow just wanting to murder everybody for no fucking reason. Like, and so literally I couldn't wait for the man to die. I literally couldn't wait. I was counting down the days. Luca was also another death that when she finally got blown out by the fucking dragons, I was like, thank fucking God, because she was also so fucking annoying. But Barlow, I was so surprised how long it all lasted, if that makes sense. Like, especially like after the poisoning, which again, I thought was so clever, again, of Violet. Again, such a like full circle moment of like, she's using her smarts to like keep her alive during these fucking battles, because again, like people just like die. Like, and I think that was the craziest part of this book to like wrap my head around. I was like, Jack Barlow just like choked out a fellow classmate, and we're just continuing with the lesson. Like, it was just crazy. It was crazy, crazy, crazy. But the second that man died, and I know Violet was so upset about it at first, and like it, you know, changed her and all of that. It led to great things. But like, not only, I feel like it was all so important, I think, again, to her character, because at the threshing, you know, she easily could have killed Oren. She easily could have and really, she could have even killed Jack, honestly, with like the amount of poisoning, but she kept him alive on purpose. I love the threshing too, just because it showed that first initial loss of control for Xaden. He was about to fucking step in if Taryn didn't show up. And I love that so much, especially compared to fucking Dane. I'm gonna now go off on Dane, because it is so disrespectful that people are comparing Kale to Dane. It is so disrespectful. So disrespectful.
Preach.
You can talk shit about Kale all you want. This is a Kale Stan podcast, by the way. And I don't care if you never listen to us again. Kale is probably one of the most relatable male main characters ever written. He truly goes on his own journey, and he's not perfect like we all are. But you can't compare him to Dane, because at the end of the day, Dane truly is the real villain of this series, right? Like, he is masked at first as the best friend, right? The best friend that like Violet, you know, had like that little like schoolgirl crush on. And he very much comes off as that like boy next door. For literally 30 seconds, he was hot. For 30 seconds, when he carried her, when he realized she was through the parapet, and carried her when he realized she was hurt, to like get her mended and shit, so it didn't come across as like vulnerability and weakness to the other candidates, or cadets. Better use
yeah,
candidates. I'm like, I don't fucking know. And like, maybe, okay, yes, we can be protective. Okay, yes, he could try to get her out of there, because you know, he grew up thinking that she was going to be in the fucking Scribe, fine. You're allowed to like give her an out and like hear her out as she says no, she's just gonna drag me back anyway, she being her mom. Which like period, she would, right? Like this is like no new news. But then for him to continuously not believe in her, not have faith in her, at every moment, at every turn, try to get her out of there when she's repeated multiple times that she is not worthy of being here. But now all of a sudden, when she gets 2 dragons, now she can get a kiss from you. But then the moment when I thought Dane should die, I literally wrote in my notes, I was like, Dane officially, so like he was pissing me off, right? Because I'm like, you're supposed to be your best friend and you don't believe in this girl at all. Okay. That's really shitty. And that really fucking sucks. But then you're gonna kiss our girl. Meanwhile, I also loved that part when she was like, we kissed, felt nothing. But then for Xaden to then like challenge you, right? Because it's all about like, because Dane and his fucking rules, right? And he's like, oh, I can't be with you because of like, because, you know, I'm your, you're my subordinate or whatever. I'm your hierarchy person. Like that's frowned upon. And she's like, girl, fuck off. I guess maybe not girl, boy, fuck off. Like it has nothing to do with this rule. But like when Dane actually admitted that he would not have stepped in and bent the rules slightly for his best fucking friend, aka also the girl that he's kind of in love with. Because like, let's be real, like Dane is in love with Violet in some way, in a like different way than Xaden is, but still. He was in love with Violet the Scribe, right?
Yeah.
Like Dane was in love with Violet the Scribe. Xaden is in love with Violet, the writer, Violet, all of her, right? When he admitted that he wouldn't bend the rules for her, I was like, Dane actually deserves to die. The fact that she still kind of was even still friends with Dane at that point, I was like kind of having excuses for him, which is so Cancer of Violet, very, very Cancer of her. Like she's given them all chances, you know what I mean? And I can appreciate that because it's her best friend. You know, they have all this history. I can understand her wanting to have that moment, but literally fuck that man. And then everything that happens at the end.
Yep.
I will now let you go off on Dane because I'm sure I can honestly keep talking for the next hour about how much Dane is the worst.
I think you did a great job. The thing that I was thinking about is in the beginning of our book, when Mira is talking to Violet, she says, do not make friends, only make alliances. And the first time I read the book, I clowned, if you will, the whole time that somebody was going to betray her, like maybe Rhiannon might betray her. And I realized this time around when I'm reading it, this is so interesting because the ultimate betrayer is Dane, who is lifelong friend, the one that she's supposed to be able to trust. So, and the only person she has going into this whole thing. So the fact that he betrays her by reading her memories, essentially, without her permission, it's just, why? Like, what is the motivation for him to do that? Is he like that salty because he had that moment where he realized like, oh, you and him? Or like, is he so consumed with rule following and this loyalty to like Navarre and Basgiath and this story that he feels compelled to take her memories and then do what he did? I'm very, very curious to see if Dane will get a character redemption.
I know. I like don't know how you redeem him though. I'm not gonna lie. But you know, I'm open to being surprised because I agree. And I think that's so beautiful to compare it to Mira's quote in the beginning because you're so right. Like I didn't think Rhiannon was going to betray, because it was one of the things that I loved the most. I loved her friendship with Rhiannon. She was a girl's fucking girl, and I loved every moment. But I was nervous. Like, I was super nervous about, like, the secrets, and, like, I was like, maybe, like, somehow Rhiannon's gonna find out and, like, be mad at Violet. I hate when friends fight. It's probably, like, the worst. It's just, like, the worst part of, like, in real life, but then also in books too. I'm like, no. I'm like, because once I feel like our characters get isolated by themselves, I'm like, this is when things, like, go south. You know, I'm like, this is when bad things happen. But, like, Dane's progression, I truly think it is an ego thing for him. You know, like, he just, like, he takes it upon himself to be the ultimate protector for Violet. And even if it hurts her, it doesn't matter, because in his brain, he's like, well, I'm doing this for the greater good. I'm doing this for our kingdom. I'm doing this to actually save Violet. Because that was also one of his thoughts too. Like, remember when that guy who again had to be murdered, which again, I'm like, that sucks. Like, he had no control of, like, what power was going to manifest that immediately is death.
He was an intrinsic, I believe.
Yeah, like, I'm like, that sucks. Like, talk about drawing, like, a short end of the fucking stick. Like, you, like, come into the writer's quadrant, like, I'm like, yes, like, I finally made it, bonded with my fucking dragon, and then, like, yes, finally, like, started channeling power, and it's, like, a power that, like, drives you fucking insane, and it's immediate death. Like, it just sucks. But he said it out loud. He was reading Dane's thoughts. He was like, why can't Violet see that, like, when is she going to stop hating me? Why can't she see that everything I'm doing is to protect her? And so, like, I think Dane just has this twisted reality and, like, this twisted view that he's kind of looking at, especially when he's looking at Xaden too, of, like, and this kingdom in general. And you realize by the end that Navarre and the kingdom in general have a very twisted view of how they see the world anyway, right? Because the enemy, which is the Griffin, is actually not the enemy at all. And so their traitors, Xaden, Dad, and friends, are actually not traitors at all. He's playing along with spinning this entire narrative, right? And I'm so interested to see what's going to happen. Because, I mean, he said at the end, he's like, oh, I'll miss you, Violet. Like, he literally was like, oh, okay, she made her choice. Like, she's going to go and, like, die now, right? And he's going to die along with Xaden. And he was 100% okay with that happening. Like, I don't know how that man gets a redemption arc. It can happen, but I just don't know.
I wonder if Dane finds out what's true, what's actually going down, who the enemy, like, the enemy is not really the enemy. I wonder what he would choose. Would he then choose, like, to be, like, this noble, loyal, like, for justice person, the way he's so attached to his current kingdom? Or, like, will he still feel this, like, allegiance to, you know, his life now, you know? Like, it is just, what would Dane do with the truth? And we still don't know yet in this book what the truth all is, right?
No, we just find out. And, you know, I really want to bring up the Amber thing, because I think the Amber situation is a really great mirror to the example that you're giving, right? He could not accept the truth of who Amber is and freaked the fuck out and tried to get the memory from Homegirl. Homegirl being Basgiath. And even when the truth was then revealed, Dane still could not handle it and still could not actually see clearly. So it's going to be very interesting. I think because I think until he comes to terms with, like, understanding that he doesn't know anything, just like no one knows anything, right? In the whole world, right? Like, we think we know what we're doing, but we don't actually know what we're doing. And I think because he holds himself to such a high standard, I don't know if it's like daddy issues. Like, I think there's a lot of shit about Dane that we don't know, especially with his father being like right hand to Violet's mom. Like, I think there's a lot of shit that we still don't know. And I'm really interested to, see like what he does do. And maybe that is the arc of like, because I think until he comes to terms with like understanding that like just because the reality of the situation isn't what he thinks, I think he just holds on to his view, and all of his morals and all of his decisions are like rooted in like that rule, reality, truth. And once that's broken, it's almost like he goes into this like giant identity crisis, right? He doesn't know who he is or like what to trust. And like it like threatens everything of like what he's thought about the world. And like I realize that's a very humbling moment. And I think anyone that's gone through like moments of life that like that, when you think someone is one way and then it turns out completely different and your world turns upside down, I can understand like it is a trip, but like I think that's probably Dane's biggest growth. Because I don't know how he would handle this truth, right?
Yeah.
Because like he didn't handle the Amber truth very well. He actually like handled it poorly, very poorly. And it's going to be very interesting. And I'm so excited to read Iron Flame. It's insane. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And I will say that you will find out more about Dane in Iron Flame. And that's all I'll say.
Okay. Before going into Book Boyfriend, because we started talking about the things that we loved. So like, is there anything else on your list of things that you absolutely loved?
I don't think I have. Well, I have the very ending scene. So I don't know if we want to talk about that yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
I want to talk about Liam.
I would love to talk about Liam.
I love Liam. I loved Liam so much. I loved his character. He was something that I absolutely loved about the whole, but because I really do love a platonic male-female friendship. And so I loved the bond that him and Violet had. And, I was telling you and I was telling my other friend, Angela, who's, my friend here, who's ride or die fourth wing. I was like, nothing can happen to Rhiannon. Nothing can happen to Liam. And, I remember her like shaking, like, like nodding. I think she was like cooking at the time. And I was like, yeah, I can't believe how heartbreaking the ending is. Like, I can't believe especially to go from like saving him at the War Games. Was it the War Games? I forget like what event that was. Where she saved him.
Mm-hmm.
For to save him and then be like, well, you saved me once. Like, it's been my honor. Like,
yes,
take me out. I was screaming. I was screaming at my book. I couldn't believe that this was happening. And you know what? Good on Rebecca for like, because I do love like a death that like is heart-wrenching, but not like, it's not Xaden or Violet, right? So it's like, it's not a main character, but it hurts just as bad.
Right. And it's not like Liam's been with us for like 3 books. Because like, yes, such a gem. And it was so heartbreaking, especially like the fact like you knew it was happening because his dragon died. And once, like that, once that gets messed with, like it's over. And so I think, yeah, I agree. It was like a great plot point, but it was so devastating. So devastating.
It was heartbreaking. Like especially too, because it's like the dragon thing too, right? It's like because of the dragon, it's like, she's like, I'm looking down at him and he's completely fine. Like no wounds. Like he's completely fine, but his like soul is literally like fading from his body. Like, and it's like, no, like we were always friends. Like, it's because I understand why Violet was so upset, right? Because again, like I think anyone would, like, it's to have your literal, and I guess are we just gonna go into the ending now that we're talking about Liam? I think we just go into the ending. Like, I can understand why, like, you would feel a type of way finding out that the man that you're fucking, the man that's your shadow, and your fucking dragons all are keeping this massive secret from you, right? I can understand being mad. We now understand, though, as the reader, I'm like, I'm taking my notes. I'm like, oh, girl, don't worry. Like, Xaden is the enemy, but he's like not the enemy. You know what I mean? Like, because now we see that there's literally venom running around, and like also trying to understand what like the venom are. And like, I think that was honestly, this last fight scene was probably the hardest one for me. One, the chapter was like 31 minutes long, and I kept having to reread parts. I don't know why it was. I think because there was so much happening. Like, there was the griffins and there was venom, but there was wyverns and then the dragons. There was so much happening. It was really hard for me to like understand like what was happening. Like, even I had to reread. I was like, wait, her, like, she just went and helps Liam. Liam's good, but now she's grabbing onto him and trying to hoist him up. I was just so confused. Like, that was the hardest part for me, I think, was that final fight scene, because I was having a really hard time reading it. But then the second everything happened with Liam, I was just like, then I was just done. I was done. And like, I understand that she's upset with Xaden, but like, I need her to not be.
I'm going to embarrass myself for a second. The first time I read it, I was also like, had a hard time with that scene as well. But I didn't know what a griffin was, and I did not know what a wyvern was. So it was like double, triple, really confusing to me, because like I could not picture what was happening. I'm like, there's creatures. What are these creatures? Like, I did not know what was happening. And like, even now I'm like, oh, I obviously know what a wyvern is. I have one on my arm. But like, yeah, obviously, like, when I was reading it, I took away like the most important parts, but like, just like this time again, like the death of Liam was like just as painful. Gosh. Yeah.
Because he was a gem. He was kind of giving,
he was kind of giving like Lucian a little bit.
Like, just a sweetie. Like, he was just a sweetie.
Yeah.
I loved him so much. And I loved, like, I don't know, like, especially, like, the friend crew that we had by the end of this book with, like, Riddoch, Rhiannon, Liam, Violet, like, Imogen, Quinn. Like, I just, like, loved, like, this, like, friend group that we had and, like, established. And, like, yeah, like, it's like he was the top of his class. He never... Like, this should not be happening. You know what I mean? And so, like, I can understand the heartbreak that Violet feels, because it's like, this is my fault. But it's like, not, right? Like, it's heart. Like, the whole thing is heartbreaking. And then we have, like, Violet with, like, then also going head to head with the venom, also getting stabbed, like, and then still, like, having these moments of like remembering and not remembering. Like, I can understand why Violet is mad at Xaden. He should have told her before this moment, especially if he was gonna, like, the moment he found out that she was gonna come, that he was gonna bring her to this outpost, he should have told her by that point, right? Like, which I guess we didn't know. I guess we didn't know because they decided, like, also fuck this school. Like, fuck this school for, like, having a party the night before and then waking everyone up at 4 a.m. saying that we're under attack. I literally would have been like, I quit. You're telling me that this is for fucking war games right now? Like, fuck you guys. Like, literally fuck off. Like, I literally have this man, like, buried inside of me. And now I have to go. Also, though, one of my favorite scenes with Rhiannon, though, is when she's wearing Xaden's jacket, and Dane comes over, and Rhiannon like drapes herself like over her to like hide the patches, saying that it's Xaden's jacket. I love Rhiannon so much. I love her. Please, like, I am like begging, but like I know Rebecca's gonna just, I feel like, continue to hurt me. Because like I feel like that's just the trend that we're going down. She hurt me immediately when Dylan died. And then now we're hurt again with Liam. So I really hope I'm not continuously being hurt. I have a feeling I am, though. I think that's low key. I think Rebecca just kind of fucking loves that shit. And I love that for her. Because again, the ending of this book is insane.
Yes.
Because one of my notes, I literally remember writing it down. I think I showed you. I love Brennan. I love Brennan so much. I can't believe I can't believe how much I love a man that has been dead since day one. Like, I love his little journal. I love how he's talked about. Like, he just seems like a sweet, genuine, also hot, even though it's like from the point of view of his sister. I don't care. Like, there was something I'm like, I love this man. I love this man. To then have the reveal at the end of this fucking book.
Right. I know. So
I lost it. I lost it. Welcome to the rebellion.
Yeah. What a surprise.
And you know what? I had a like random, I was telling you this morning, I had like such a random, like intrusive thought while I was reading. I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if Brennan was alive this whole time? Like, but that's so nuts. Like, why would that, because like Brennan's death is like also like one of the things that is held over Violet's head when it comes to like Xaden and like, like her mom killed his dad and his dad killed her brother. And like, so like their love is complicated anyway, And so it's like one of those major things and plot points. So then for him to show up and be like, welcome to the revolution, I lost it. What a great way to end the fucking book. Like, iconic. It's one of the questions I have. Like, I need Brennan's backstory immediately. I need the backstory immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. So crazy. And just like, okay, so like, how well do we know Xaden? And like, I know we're upset with Xaden, but like, if I was in a room and then like my brother, who I thought was dead, like walked in, I'd be like, Xaden, you're forgiven.
Period. No, I'd be like, raw, next question. Like, oh, my brother that I thought was dead is like now here working with you. Like,
right. Yeah.
So
many questions, just like, and like, does Mira know, like, what was up with her dad then? Like, what's the backstory like with the dad and how much he knew? And like, what also is this resistance revolution, like, whatever, like, what is it? And yeah, it's very satisfying. It's very satisfying. And I'm so glad we have the next book to dive into.
I can't imagine the girlies that had to wait. I can't imagine the girlies that had to read this and then wait a year to get Iron Flame, because like she did, like Rebecca did a great job. She did a great fucking job, because I had the same questions. Like, does Mira definitely doesn't know, because low-key Mira's like a little bit rebellion racist. Like, I don't know if it's actually, I don't know if that's the term, but that's what I'm calling it. Like, you could tell at the base that they were all at, like, she definitely feels a certain type of way for the marked folks. Like, there's definitely a lot of mistrust there, and it's obviously that's there with purpose, right? And I also find it to be so interesting that this is the first class, like these third year Xaden is going to be the first class of these children that are from this rebellion, from the resistance. They have the relic. Like, I'm like, and this is like the timing of all of this and all of this happening. It's just so interesting to me. And I just need to know everything. But I agree, like, I would be forgiving Xaden so quick. Because I also know why he kept secrets. Like, I know, like, I understand that, like, he had to keep them. Like, he didn't know Violet. Like, Dane is her best fucking friend, and Dane is like enemy number one in Xaden's, like, from Xaden's point of view. So like her mother is her mother, and yeah, he's been secretly working with her brother, but like we just don't know. And now it's like so interesting. It's like, oh my God. So it's like when he first saw her, did he actually ever see an enemy at all? Because he's been working with Homeboy for who knows how long. I mean, low-key, Brennan's been dead for like, what, a year or two, right? Like, hasn't it been a while? So I'm just like, I was floored. I like genuinely can't believe that was the ending. And I needed to know the backstory immediately. I don't know how they go back to school. Like, because like they were all sent there to basically die. So I'm like, how do you like fly back to Basgiath? Sorry, I don't
Basgiath or whatever.
Basgiath,
I think.
Basgiath. How the fuck are they all supposed to go back to Basgiath now?
Yeah,
and be like, hey Dane, hey mom,
let's go to class.
Like, I don't know. Like, what are you supposed to just go back to school? Like, after like sending them into a place where it's like then we're there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you go back to school and like be normal about that.
Right.
So that's crazy. And yeah, I think one of my biggest things, I just need her to forgive Xaden immediately. Especially when then you're in his POV and like he's like, I fell for like I've fell for her, obviously I love her. I'm not going to tell her that right now, and I respect that he didn't do that, because you don't want to say I love you for the first time when Violet is like mad. But also like, I'm sorry, how can you not? I'll never be able to get past like how you cannot be with a man that is like literally in your mind. Like, it's game over. Like, he is endgame. You know, like you'll forgive him eventually, because
how long will it take?
Yeah, exactly. Like, hopefully only like a chapter or two. Right. I think like after like a heart to heart with Brennan, because I think that's like the one thing that kept getting repeated. It's like, you don't really know Xaden. You don't really know Xaden. And like now it's like, okay, everything now is officially out on the table. Yes, I think he could have told you a little bit sooner, but like, I understand why he had hesitations, because this isn't just like some nice backstory lore. This is like some pretty big fucking shit. Like, everything that we have been taught is low-key a lie, and everything that is going on right now is like also low-key a lie. Like, there's like really bad shit happening that no one's talking about, and like, I don't know if I can trust you with that, because you're literally the Gemini's daughter. Like, I think that's very real. Like, I think that's a very real thing. However, her dragon shouldn't have lied. That is a portrayal that I also don't think I could get over.
I mean, I think I can't say too much, because obviously I know it comes next. But something that didn't pay too much attention to this time around, but paid way more attention this time and had like curiosity about, was like in the beginning of the chapters when you have those like little like quotes or like expert like excerpts, or like some of them are like go into the chapter, and the chapter then is like very much like related, and then others are a little bit more cryptic. And so I'm very interested to see what Rebecca is doing in those little chapter entry things. I don't even know what you want to call it.
I also felt like, though, they were very foreshadow-y. Like, I felt like when I would read them, like, especially like one that sticks out to me, it was like, a signet that is uncontrollable is almost as dangerous as a signet that never manifests at all. And then it was like, it went into the chapter with like her like desperately trying to aim her lightning because now we're under attack and shit, and it's just like not working. And so it's like, I loved those. And also I think that's what made, I'm like, damn, Rebecca's mine. Like, I just, anyone that writes fantasy, because like, just for example, I write contemporary romance, and as much as I love fantasy, like the amount of world building that you have to do, like there's books of Brennan from Brennan's diary, there's this codex and that codex and this reading and that reading from all these different things. Like that is so different from the plot. Obviously it's all feeding in together, but I'm like, damn, like you put so much thought into all of this. Like, everyone that writes fantasy, I'm just in such awe of you, because like world building like that is nuts. Is so nuts. Like, even in the beginning, I think it's like, this codex is like transcribed by Jessina. What's her name? Jessinia. This is also the fact that like I really thought that Liam and Jessinia were gonna get together in the second book, and I'm like, now I'm grieving that. I'm just realizing that, and I'm grieving that. Because also that was so cute. Like, that was so cute when he like started signing to her. Like, I just love him. I love him, and I'm so upset. I'll get over it. I don't know, though. I don't know.
I think we'll step into like a new like realm of chaos, and we'll sadly forget the memory. But I think the only other thing that like questions I have, when things are repeated, I start to pay attention. And I know that Violet's hair has silver in it, but we mention it a lot. And Tarn calls her Silver One. And I think I'm just kind of curious, like, is there a deeper meaning like with this silver situation? Because in the beginning with her relationship with Tarn too, I forget the setting and I forget what we were talking about specifically, but he says to her, like, I know who and what you are. And I guess that could mean like what her signet is, or like just the fact that like they're bonded together. But like, I don't know. I don't know if it's a clown, but I just have a question. Like, is the silver thing more significant than just like a color in her hair?
Totally. Well, on my notes, I want to say maybe this is like this last part of the book, because her hair was brought up again, and I was like, why am I just realizing? Because, you know, she had the silver in her hair. To me, at least, I feel like it was another sign for her having lightning and like being a commander of the sky, and the physical manifestation of being able to wield lightning, because lightning is low key like silver. And so, but I wonder if it's even deep, because also I don't think any of her does her mom have the silver hair too? Because I feel like at the beginning it said it was like, oh, it's like the mark of the Sarngale, like, oh, you should really cut your hair. At least Myra said that at first, but I don't know if her mom has that as well.
What I'm also just thinking about, like, while you're saying that is, you know how they were talking about like signets and like how there's like a major one and then there's like these like minor powers or whatever. Like, do we have the full information? Oh, also interesting. Sorry, now I'm just like, ugh, I'm chaotic. The fact that like Andarna's like gold.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's fun.
I never thought about that either.
Like,
that's very fun.
Yeah. So I just like wonder if there's also something undiscovered, because like we have 2 dragons. We know what Andarna, like how badass she was when they were able to like stop time, and we didn't get to talk about that. But like, is there more? Or when she Andarna like matures and like can like give a signet, like what is to come, like, for Violet?
Well, because I think now at the end she doesn't have her time stopping power anymore, right? Like, she used it the last time to save Violet from falling, right?
Yeah.
This is the part that like was hard for me. Like, that whole fight scene was really hard for me. I got that Liam died, and then even from there I was so confused about what was happening. So like, she used her power the last time, it drained her, but also, so it's like she doesn't have that power anymore. But now she's also huge, I guess. Yeah, I'm also really interested to see what happens with that too, because we don't really know of her like the lesser stuff, or if that's learned over time. Like with like wards and stuff and all of that. But yeah, it's just very interesting. I also love your questions as well. Okay, favorite lines, and then maybe we end with book boyfriend and our rating.
Yeah, I shared mine, my favorite line and quote earlier when we were talking about like Violet's like character development. So I'd love to hear what your favorite line is.
Okay. So mine is from Violet, and it's to Dane. Because I just, again, I like just love a girl being in her strength and knowing her worth. And I feel like I just felt like this part, especially because I feel like as a reader, we were feeling this. And so it was really great to actually have it verbalized. But it was, the reason we will never be more than friends isn't because of your rules. It's because you have no faith in me. Even now, when I have survived against all odds and bonded not one, but 2 dragons, you still think I won't make it. So forgive me, but you're about to be some of the bullshit that this place cuts away from me.
Mic drop.
Honestly, I love a woman standing in her worth. I just felt like we were all thinking it, we were all feeling it, and it was really like gratifying for her to just like actually know. It's like, yeah, you're a fucking badass. Like, like enough of this stupid fucking shit. When she had the lightning and Dane was like, you don't have to use your power, Violet. And now realizing also at the, you know what makes it even worse? Now realizing at the end that he was stealing her memories this whole time anyway. Every time that he touched her jaw or like anything, like I feel like he was stealing them the whole fucking time. I'm done. Like, I'm done. Fuck you for literally telling our girl to never use her power. Like, literally, he can kindly go fuck off. Like, I'm so sorry. He's the worst. And so this moment was really gratifying for me. Also, of course, and then it's been my honor, obviously.
Yeah.
Because heart-wrenching. Yeah. You know, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think it's any surprise for my book boyfriend. My book boyfriend is obviously Xaden.
Yeah. It's a good obvious choice.
It's an obvious. There's no contender for me.
I could probably go Liam, but I know he didn't have as much of like a in your face like role, but I really loved his banter with Violet. I really loved just like him, just the funny things he would say too, like being very aware of like Violet and Xaden's like chemistry. And I know that has nothing to do with him like being book boyfriend, but he just seemed like a really like genuine, nice, like
sweetie. And he's still hot. Like he's again, he's the strongest guy in the class. Like our rating, I feel like, is pretty unanimous.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 out of 5.
5 stars. 5 stars. Hands down. 5-star read. I loved every moment. I couldn't believe how fast. Like, I couldn't believe we were already at the end of the year. Like, I felt like the pace of this book truly, like, kept me on my toes. I was constantly like, oh my God, are they going to get together? Are they not? Are they? Is she going to stay alive? Is she not? I loved every moment. Every moment was so good. Like 5 out of 5.
Yep. It was direct. It was to the point. We were moving. We were grooving. It was, I loved it. And I really, really, really had so like just like the opportunity to like appreciate it so much more than last year. Like in many ways, it did feel like the first time I read it. And I really struggled with, I'm not going to lie, I struggled with Iron Flame last year. And I'm actually really excited. I was like, I don't know if I want to reread that because Iron Flame was hard for me. But like now that we're done with Fourth Wing, I'm so excited to read Iron Flame. I really am.
I know. I had another friend too say the same thing. She's like, I loved Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. She DNF'd it. Like it was really hard for her to get into. But I'm like, again, it's how I feel even after like the second book of House of Sky and Breath, right? I'm like, how could the third book be? I'm like, how could this next one be bad? Like, this is so good. I'm so happy that you did reread and you have this different perspective. I'd love to like dive into that more with you, with how you're feeling, because yeah, like it seems like you have this completely different perspective. And there's also bonus chapters. My friend just sent me bonus chapters.
Really? I did
Yeah.
not know
So
that.
we are going to dive into these bonus chapters as well. She's like the best one. There's like 3 bonus chapters, but she was like the best one is it's a Xaden point of view when he speaks mind to Violet for the first time.
Interesting. No palate cleanser needed.
No palate cleanser needed. I am full send. I need to be where Brennan is, and I need to understand like what the fuck is going on. And I need Violet and Xaden to make up because they're a peak power couple. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Also, okay, it didn't make my quotes by any means. Like, I underlined it. It didn't make my favorite quote, but I forget who was talking. I think it was one of the professors. Hold on, I need to look it up because I feel like this is another point of the book where like Rebecca kind of like planting seeds. Oh, I just loved everything that I highlighted. I love having a Kindle, so I can literally look at all of my highlights at once. It's my favorite. But did I buy also 2 different? So it's like, yes, I have my Kindle. This is free on Kindle Unlimited. But then did I also buy the paperback and hardcover of Fourth Wing? Yes, I did. Okay. But together, his bushy brows furrow. You would be a formidable enemy who command could simply not afford to let exist. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think this is the professor, the Signet professor, talking about Violet and Xaden and like how them together as a unit, yeah, they're completely unstoppable. She has lightning and he commands shadows. Game over. And so that quote really stuck out to me because I'm like, I have a feeling it's like Dream Team. They're like literally now leading the revolution with fucking Brennan, bro. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. I can't. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. I love Xaden so much. I can't wait for more scenes with him.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Iron Flame. I can't wait for you to find out more information. There's part of like my reread appreciation, I guess, does have to do with things that I saw her planting, early on, that I'm like, wow, she introduced that really early. And like, I had no idea. So that's been definitely fun. And yeah, I mean, just being able to read this series again without like feeling a sense of like allegiance or attachment or comparison, which is like so icky for me to have like to operate in, like I did last time. But I'm really appreciative. I can admire Rebecca a lot with her writing. And yeah, I think this was a great book.
Fuck yeah. I'm so happy that you had a better time this time around too. And that's why, like, low-key, that's why I love rereading books too, especially fantasy shit, because it's, I mean, I had like a totally new revelation with Akatar because I literally like couldn't leave the world. So I just immediately started everything over again and like, that was like such a joy of like realizing how soon things were introduced without realizing it. And I think that's why like I didn't really have a big clown on my end with this book, just because I'm like, I was truly hanging on for dear life, just like reading and trying to survive. Like, I remember my friend asking me for theories and I'm like, I literally don't have any. I'm like reading. I'm just trying to figure out what's happening.
It was honestly very refreshing. Like, even like with reading the second time, like I don't necessarily like have a clown, or like it was just where we just came from, like very refreshing to not like be consumed with like clowning and theories and
I know
trying to like
so
connect
nice.
worlds and stuff. It was just that is like a whole nother brain space, and like to not have to do that, like, but like also have a really, really good story. It was special.
I'm so excited. Okay. Now we're off to Iron Flame.
We are.
That'll be our next one. So if y'all want to read along with us, you'll have time.
Yes. And please comment anything, like if you can relate to anything, or if we were saying something and you were like screaming watching us because you had something to say, or there's something we didn't cover, because obviously there's so much that we didn't get to cover. Please let us know what we missed.
Yes. Leave comments, DM us. I love talking about books so much, and I definitely want to hear what y'all think too, especially the girlies that like have been in this for a minute and they're like big fourth wing girlies. I can't wait to also be a big fourth wing girly. I can't wait to start putting fourth wing stickers on my little water bottle. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. What quadrant would you be?
Oh yeah. I would love to think I could be a writer. I think realistically, a scribe life is the life for me. I did I asked this into the world on Threads a few weeks ago, and somebody made a really good point, and they were like, did I just find out and I have to pick something, or like have I been training since I was a child? Because if I knew about this since childhood, I would obviously pick the writer route. But my little 30-year-old anxious self who likes to read books and not socialize and all of that, I'm like, put my head down in a book, recording everything going on. I would love to be in the archives all day long. So I think realistically, that's where I would be. I feel, can I guess for you?
Yeah, you can guess.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. No, first of all, no one's going to pick the infantry, but I feel like for you, I see like the healer quadrant.
Yeah. No, I was going to say that because I totally agree with that person on Threads. Like, if I know, like, I would also love to think myself to be a writer, right? And I simply would honestly, the only reason why I would want to be a writer truly is just to talk mind to mind to my dragon, which is to me not a good enough reason to like put my life at risk every day. Do you know what I mean? In a scribe life, though, as much as I love books, sorry, you'll see me constantly waving around my little brush. It's just like my little emotional keyboard brush that I like to wave around. I also can't imagine myself just like being in the library all day. I would get so bored. Which to me then I think leaves the healer vibes. I think given what I also have done in the past, I think like, but like I also like would love to be like best of both. Like if I could be like a Brennan, like my signet would be like a mender, but then like I'm still dragoning would also be such a vibe. But again, like I also like if I would have to be training since childhood. You know what I mean? Because also mending like, or like just seeing like people just totally ripped apart. I don't know if I can handle that either. Which is why sometimes I'm like, I think I would like force myself to be writer and just suck it up. But my personality, I think realistically is probably healer in this world. But I would love to be the best of both worlds and be like a Brennan, honestly. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
So cute.
Cool.
Okay. All right, I think this is it. Do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. I think we covered this well.
Okay, love. Okay. Y'all, this was so great. Please like, comment, subscribe, send to your friends, read along with us. Like, please, after reading this and you're like, oh my God, I think I might want to like reread or pick up for the first time, like the rest of the series, like, let's fucking go. we'll be reading Iron Flame next, and then we'll go into Onyx Storm. We're going to be in this journey for a minute, and then we'll probably take a little palate cleanser break before heading into the next thing. But yeah, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope my mispronouncing literally everything didn't totally take you out of the story. Until next time, you guys, have the most amazing rest of your day, week, life. Happy Pisces season. I think it's going to still be Pisces season when we release this. Actually, I don't know. I think we might be in Aries, which would be Zayden's birthday. Because he's either a Pisces or an Aries. And I think he's an Aries.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. I know, right? Well, I'm like, I have to ask Rebecca. Anyway, y'all, love you so much. Until next time, we'll talk soon.
Bye.